Riley Bender, when I ran you over in Indiana, how awkward was that?
Not my finest moment. It wasn't just you. I had Rachel run me over too.
Yeah, that's actually
Not a
true. It
great
was
moment.
Rachel that ran you over. She ran your bike over, and I almost took you out. That was the crazy part.
Yeah, that race was super dusty. There was a lot of fast people on our row. I was not one of them, and I nailed a tree and got ran over by Rachel and almost you.
That was crazy. If anybody wants to check out what we're talking about, I think it's out there on Instagram. It's also in the seat time video from the Mud Daubers Enduro. But dude, that was crazy. And that was an earlier time for, I think, your addition to being on Yamaha, right? We just got off the horn with Braxton. We talked a little about Sherco to Fantic and how that unfortunately folded for him. A little bit of the same for you, right? Coming to Sherco with the Factory One, that kind of like folded in the ways that it went down. But now you're riding for Cody Webb's team. So and it's interesting because I saw a lot of chatter about the father-son team has finally come together or something to that regard. So I'd imagine that you guys have been riding together for a long time and that this really just made a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I first met Cody back in 2022 when I first started like racing hard enduro. I was on the Sherco rider development team, and we got to know each other just from kind of being teammates on Sherco. I mean, I wasn't really on the team; I was just getting help from them. And then like 2023, we really started riding together because we only live like an hour and a half from each other. And one of our main riding spots is right in between us. So we started riding together, and then over the years, we just got to know each other really well. And then through being teammates on Sherco, like the past 2 years, we got pretty close and started traveling together, just because a lot of it made sense. And then, yeah, like a lot of people know, Sherco kind of crumbled over this summer and just changed ownership basically. And with that, my contract kind of came to an end. And Cody um, basically gave me an opening and said, I would love to have you on the team. This is what I can do for you, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, it's been a perfect fit so far. I'm very happy with how everything's going at Yamaha.
That's awesome, dude. It's funny, when Cody Webb announced his team, I believe sometime at the end of 24 and kind of how all of that was coming together, or as it was evolving in 24. I'm trying to remember when he and I started chatting, but there was like, I was trying to get like a Yamaha under the Cody Webb banner to race in 2025 like I did with the National Enduros. And when that officially kind of like, he's like, we're just not gonna be able to work it out. I was like, okay, cool, not a big deal. Obviously I wasn't gonna be getting paid. I was gonna be paying him to kind of have a package, right, in that regard. And that's when I went to Adventure Moto, got on the gas. But so it's so cool to know that what he wanted at the time, to have a chance to be able to expand the program that he's been working on, not just for himself, but that he can offer that to other riders, is super cool. But I have to ask, he went from the Shercos to the two-stroke Yamahas, had some issues, has even announced he's like only going to be riding the four-strokes. Like, what's that transition been like for you from a low-end, I can't even stall this motorcycle Sherco to a Yamaha YZ250?
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. It's definitely a change. Um, it's I was lucky enough to get on the Yamaha after Cody had done all of his testing and spent a whole year on it. So I kind of got like our best product right away. So it wasn't near as much of a change for me as it was for him. But yeah, the two-stroke, I will say the YZ250 is probably the most fun bike out there. But it's just not really practical for hard enduro, and we've done a lot that has really, really helped. I would say the Athena 300 kit has been the biggest thing, but there's just still so many little things that we need to tweak to get it perfect. And we've honestly found that the YZ250FX four-stroke with some minor adjustments is actually pretty dang good in hard enduro. And I just picked up one about 2 weeks ago, and I've been on it for like 4 days now, and I'm honestly really gelling with it in the technical. So I've kind of been lucky enough to skip over all the struggles of testing. And I mean, he's literally spent a year just testing. So I got to kind of skip over most of that, and we're on a really good program right now. And honestly, I think you will see me on a four-stroke as well.
And is that like, so King of the Motos, that's the bike you're going to be on?
Yeah, I mean, we're still figuring it all out to the base, but most likely, yes, you'll see me on a four-stroke at King of the Motos.
So here's my one thought about where this could potentially go south. And I'm sure yes, when you're riding these motorcycles, the rotational weight of a four-stroke can't be felt as much, right? Like when the bike is moving forward, but it's when it's dead weight. They just are heavier. And it's those situations when you're on the side of the hill and you might have the bike up here in this position, or you're kind of like in this position, or there's just a little bit of the necessary dragging sometimes that has to happen in hard enduro. We don't we don't want to be in that position. That's where I think it's like, man, like that could wear a rider or racer out so much in a situation that it becomes then a detriment towards the later parts of the race because they're so spent from those. How are you so energetic? Well, before I start these interviews, I make sure instead of just having an Americano, I make myself a shot of espresso in my nice motorcycles and coffee shot glass. And of course, if you want to make sure that you have a tumbler as well, you could get a motorcycle and coffee tumbler. What's neat is it's got this little button, and now I can drink out of it. Push it again. Okay, I had to really test it. Nothing comes out. Whoa, guys, these things are awesome. Thank you very much for your support at Motorcycles and Coffee. We really appreciate it. Please support those that are supporting this sport by going to motorcyclesandcoffee.com. See you guys in Johnson Valley.
I haven't done a ton of testing, like I said, only a couple of days so far. But what I've found, because I thought the same thing, I kind of expected that as well. What I found is obviously the four stroke is really good in the fast stuff. Um, but where I was surprised is I really like it in the really, really slow, like switchback technical stuff. But where I found like the biggest hang up of the weight to be is like not where it's super hard, but like very technical and like maybe chunky and like a lot of just stuff that you can like no dab through, but is still technical. And like where you're just getting jostled around a little bit, like that's where I felt the weight the most.
Hmm.
But I will say it isn't as bad as I expected in the super technical. Yes, it's heavier than a two stroke for sure, but it's not horrible. And honestly, one of my favorite things about the four stroke, especially the Yamaha, is that I have really no pipe to hit. I mean, if I throw my bike perfectly, it can land on the side and hit a pipe. But I mean, the Yamaha pipe doesn't even go out the front of the bike. So there's been
Right.
so many times the last couple days riding where if I was on a two stroke, I would have crumpled a pipe here. So that's kind of nice not to have to worry about that. It makes dragging the bike a little bit easier.
You're like, it's okay. It's not a
Yeah.
$300 part.
The
It's
SXS
the brake
covers the
tip. It's fine.
frame. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it, dude. Well, what has it felt like for you? You're still a younger age. We were just talking about some of the development teams that you were on and kind of that trajectory towards the pro class this year. What has that felt like for you? And then going into 26, like, do you think you have anything to prove, or you know that you're still learning? Like, kind of where are you at mentally with all that?
The mental side has kind of been a struggle because my past 2 seasons I've been taken out with injury.
Mm,
And it's been pretty brutal, honestly. Like I was in a very tight battle with Braxton for the A class championship back in 24, and then got taken out of that with a shoulder dislocation. And then 25 came back, had a pretty decent result at King of the Motos, eighth place in pro. That was my pro debut. And then missed grinding stone because I dislocated my right shoulder this time. Tried to come back from Moab, was running like ninth place at Moab, and then dislocated again and had to get surgery, ending my season again. So the past couple years have been brutal, and I know what I'm capable of. I just haven't been able to really prove that yet. So I'm hungry for this year. I really want to show what I can actually do.
that's cool, man. Yeah. And I can imagine, yeah, 2 years of that, of just kind of like, it almost feels like you're sitting on the bench. Like you're kind of like that red-shirted freshman. It's like, but practice went really good. Like, why can't I be in the game? And it's like, well, because injuries and dirt bikes. And sometimes that just sucks. Is there
Yeah.
how do you feel about King of the Motos? I've been having a lot of interesting conversations because like Quinn, East Coast guy, has a lot of things to say about King of the Motos. Not that that's bad, it's just that he's an East Coast guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I live in Colorado, and most of our riding, especially this time of year, is all West Coast desert style riding. So I'm pretty used to that. And I used to my first race at King of Motos, I hated it. I was like, I hate King of Motos. This place sucks. And then 24, I got my first A class win there. And I was like, okay, maybe this isn't too bad. And then last year I had a really good result in pro. I'm like, all right, I guess I like King of the Motos. Like it suits my style. Well, I'd say like my style more so fits like the just long beatdown races where like King of the Motos, there's nothing super hard there. It's just you're getting beat down for hours. Whereas like a race like Grinding Stone that's very, very technical and trialsy, I kind of struggle there a little bit more, but I would say King of the Motos definitely fits my style well.
With the A class, no, you said 25 was the beginning of your pro debut
Yeah.
last year at King of the Motos, correct? What did you think of the ending of the event where they were like, okay, now that you're here, take a left and go up that rock face?
I thought that was sick. I mean, that section was pretty brutal, and I may or may not have ghost ridden my bike up it. Um, but I thought it was sick, and that type of rock out there, it's like it's got such good traction that you can do some pretty cool stuff on it. So like, I mean, it was pretty vertical, but it wasn't horrible to get up. And I think it's sick having something like that at the very end of the race because you're pushing all race and you are completely exhausted. And then you get to that. So it really kind of, I guess, tests you. When I got to it, I was in eighth at the time, and Quinn Wenzel was ahead of me, I'm pretty sure. And he was at the very top by the time I got to it, so I knew there was no way I could catch him. And then I didn't have anyone behind me for a long way, so I was kind of by myself on it. But it would have been kind of cool to battle somebody up it. Like there was definitely a lot of lines up it that you could have taken. So I don't really know how that would have gone, but I definitely think that's cool. Like how the races kind of get progressively harder on that. I like those. I like the final hills to get to the finish. So they're sick.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that, and we saw a couple of the top hard enduro guys in the world say no, right? They all met at the bottom of one of those hills and was like, when is enough enough? Now, I don't think in the United States we've even closely reached that type of a situation, but I think it's interesting that this sport in and of itself is so new still, really. Like, what is what's too dangerous kind of a situation? And again, I'm not at y'all's level, so I can't answer that. So it's very interesting to have seen that. Did you have any thoughts on that when that kind of happened overseas?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really pay attention to it too much. I didn't really dig into it, but yeah, I got the general idea of it, and I don't know. I'm in that boat right now where I feel like every year it gets harder and harder and harder, and I feel like there's a point where it's just like it's too much. Like it's not safe, and I personally like I will voice my opinion on this very well. I do not like Grinding Stone at all. I think that place is way too dangerous. I mean,
Mm.
it is some of the coolest riding, but the worst injuries come out of that place. I'm biased because both of my shoulder injuries have came out of there. So I've got that on my side. But I don't know. I mean, it is when you pull off a line there, it is the coolest feeling, but it is so easy to just cartwheel all the way down there and get really hurt. So I'm not a huge fan of that place, and I don't like that style of stuff. But I would say like the finish hill last year at King of the Motos was done very well. It was very technical, but not too dangerous, which I enjoyed that.
So at Grinding Stone, it seems that they have much more porous rock, but it's like the loosest deserty sand up to that porous rock. So that's very precarious. Is that a lot what King of the Motos is like, or is it that the dirt is a lot different so it never gets as deep as sand, I guess, as it does there at Grinding Stone?
Yeah, I mean, grinding stone is definitely a lot softer sand for sure, so it kind of ruts up and drags around easier. But I think the biggest difference is just how much bigger the rocks are at grinding stone. I mean, the mountain is literally one rock. Where like King of the Motos, it's a kind of similar rock, but they're smaller formations and you can kind of pick your way through it. Whereas grinding stone is just straight up.
Oh my gosh, I like it. I like it. Well, with the US Hard Enduro Series being an AMA national championship for 2026 and beyond, right, for a couple of years at least. What does that do for you? Like, as a racer in the series and one of the pros, like, has that been something that you can hang on your hat for sponsors and things of that nature? Or maybe because of where you're at with Cody, it didn't personally affect you, but maybe it did affect the team in a good way? It's kind of interesting. I'm glad that that has finally come to fruition. I know that that's been something they've been trying to do for a while, but I didn't know if you've felt the added grandeur of that yet.
obviously it's really sick to see it become a national series. I think it's definitely been worthy of being a national series for a long time. So it's really cool to see that finally come about. I know that the promoters have been working really well, you know, Matt and Josh and those guys to get it where it is. So it's very cool to see it there. And yeah, it does help a lot because it's a lot easier to market yourself to companies, whether it be Yamaha or just gear companies or smaller companies. If you can market yourself as going for a national enduro and you're in a national championship, that definitely speaks a lot more to them. And especially at the end of the year, I mean, if you can end the year with a national championship, that is huge for sponsors and even yourself. Like that's some pretty cool to be able to call yourself a national champion. So it means a lot more, and yeah, it helps out with sponsors, but also just kind of means something to me, at least me personally, it means something to me too.
That's cool to hear, man. Well, what else? What didn't I ask you about that you have to say? What questions, comments, concerns do you have going into King of the Motors for 2026?
Um, I'm not too sure. I've kind of been slowly getting back on the bike, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very prepared on the bike. I've been going pretty hard in like the gym and the off the bike area, but my shoulders have been giving me a bit of a pain. So I have had like 4 days on the bike in the past 3 months, which isn't
Mm,
ideal
not a
coming into
lot,
the
yeah.
first round. Yeah, but I'm headed to SoCal next week, and I'll be down there until the race to get as much training in as I can. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been really in the scene too much lately, and it's nice to step away, but it's good to get back to it. So I don't really know what to expect for Kingdom Motos, but I'm gonna give it my best, and I'm pretty sure that that'll land me in a good place for it.
Love it, dude. Well, thank you very much for your time. Congrats on getting all this going with fatherly Cody Webb, the goat, right? Maybe you can figure out whatever you can. You're a kid. Goats have kids. You're already a kid. I mean, you're pretty much a kid. Like that. We got to come up with something better. We'll get there. But you got to have a fun butt patch or something, right? And
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
really appreciate your time and all the information. Look forward to seeing you there in Johnson Valley.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. This is super cool, and I'm glad to see you there.
Hell yeah. I hope that you're as excited for the 2026 King of the Motos as I am. If you're not going to be able to join us in Hammertown and Johnson Valley, make sure you watch the King of the Motos YouTube channel for the live broadcasts that are going to be happening January 24th and 25th. I'll be there announcing, having a great time. Thank you again to Motorcycles and Coffee for supporting these interviews and the King of the Motos. Check them out at motorcyclesandcoffee.com. Subscribe to Seat Time. We'll see you for the next one. Peace.